Welcome, welcome. As you can see, we are in the great doors of out. It's pretty nice out. We got a fire going right over here. We got the string lights behind. I'm about to roast up another hot dog over the fire. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be so great. Which I'm gonna do right now. Oh yeah. Anybody else enjoying youth group out by the fire? It's a beautiful night. So good. Alright, we got two players are in. Sam, it's not safe outside. Well, Sam, you'll just have to come over and protect me then, if it's not safe. I need you to protect me.
Honestly, trying to be safe.
I guess there's that too. I know my face is blocked, but gotta get that hot dog roasted. Bubble guppies. Bubble guppies. Oh, bubble guppies. Oh, I'll work on my reading. Thanks, Lauren. I like the lights as well. I think they're classy. They're really nice when it gets darker outside. They really light up the patio. It's quite nice. Hopefully, maybe we'll have to have like a youth group patio bonfire type thing sometime. Alright, we're getting there. Anyone else? Let's see. Hot dog. Ooh, smoke in the eyes. Giannis. Okay. Ooh. Auntie Toko Umpu. Martha speaks. Alright, time to get this hot dog nice and roasted. While we're waiting, please comment and share something fun that you did today. I'll go first. I had a bonfire and roasted hot dogs while having a youth group. Oh no! Ah, smoke in the eye! I'm hoping the hot dog does not fall off of the stick. That would be really bad. Don't fall off, don't fall off. Anybody comment on doing? Nobody commented. And what? Anybody want to share? What'd you do that was fun? Lottie's uncle. Oh, we got two gens in tonight. Can you see Lottie walking around? You can't see her. There she is. Lottie, you're on camera. They can see you. Team Umizumi. So Bryn made homemade pizza. Bryn, if you have any leftovers that you have, let me know. I'll come take them off your hand. Jennifer, we went to Fon Ferrex Glen this afternoon, and yes, it was a nice day out. It was super good. And Fon Ferrex Glen, I'm sure, is really nice. Also, Pastor Aaron, we are getting Chick-fil-A tomorrow. What? Please bring me back some. I will, I'll Apple Pay you. Bring me back a chicken sandwich with waffle fries and a lemonade, please. With no pickles. A chicken sandwich, no pickles, with Chick-fil-A sauce, a large waffle fry, and a lemonade. Please and thank you. Alright, I think that's good. How do you guys roast your hot dogs? See, it's a little wobbly, so like I can't get it to stay on one side to roast, but it doesn't look too bad. So this side's a little undone, but then that side is more done. So it's like half and half. But if you're gonna roast a hot dog over fire, it has to be like really roasted. Although, I think it locked in, so I'm gonna try to cook it a little bit more. Roast up that other side. Oh, there we go. Yes. Now it's nice and roasted. Alright, need the bun? Okay, gonna go around this way. Yes. Okay. Excuse me, that is not yours. Lottie was trying to eat my hot dog. Unbelievable. Distilled vinegar, #1 mustard seed, salt, turmeric, and spices. There we go. You gotta go along the edges, that way the mustard gets down along the bun. Perfect. Look at that. Now, normally I would also toast the bun, but it's alright. There's nothing like a freshly roasted, freshly grilled. Grilled? Roasted? Over an open fire. A hot dog that's been prepared over an open fire. It's amazing. And there goes Lottie. Landon, hello. Not the frozen. No, okay, I gotta catch up. Sauce, Chick-fil-A sauce. G-Man, frozen lemonade. It's okay, but just a regular lemonade. Chick-fil-A is not overrated. Landon, hello. Johnny, Aaron Fugate came by our house to see Garrett, but Garrett was gone, so we talked for a bit. That sounds like a lot of fun. And Landon, mustard is not gross. On most other things it is, but on hot dogs it's okay. Jennifer, hold on, I think I'm actually watching a Food Network episode. This is, surprise, surprise, this is not Respectable Sins. This is respectable ingredients that should go on foods, like mustard and Chick-fil-A sauce on chicken sandwiches. Lottie barking. Made Max bark. Nice. Oh, gotta put some more wood on the fire. Hold on. And we're back, baby. Man. I'm gonna have to grill up a third one. This is my second one. And it is amazing. Nice weather. The lights on. Got a fire going. And this is a cheesy dog. So there's delicious cheese oozing out of the hot dog. I'm telling you guys. The only thing that could make this better is if you all were here with me. Then it would be the most amazing thing in the world. Aaron Hogger, I'm sorry to hear that cheesy hot dogs make you throw up. That's a really sad thing. And Sam, I agree. Cheesy hot dogs are the best hot dog. Ooh, look. Can you see it? See the cheese in there? Can you see it? It's so good. It's like oozing out. It's like sweating cheese. It's ready to be devoured. Some fire and frame. All right, here we go, ready? Let me try it, ready? Gotta watch it to make sure it gets on there. What you guys got? Oh, yeah, there we go. Go down a little bit. Think you can see it? See? Yeah, not too bad. Not too shabby. Alright, let's try to get it set up again. Okay, I think that worked. Okay, it's 6:41, so we gotta get started. Do we only have 12 players tonight? Alright, let's see here. Let's twist it a little bit. Okay. More immersion, put the camera in the fire. No, it's not going right in the fire. Full immersion. I am not going to fully immerse the laptop in the fire, but we are going to fully immerse ourselves in a round of Kahoot. So, we will get started in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Tonight's theme, random and useless facts. Random and useless facts. Here we go. What is an octothorpe? What is an octothorpe? A cross between an octopus and a scorpion, another name for the pound sign or the hashtag symbol, a hypnotic therapy used on older adults, or a crochet pattern. What is an octothorpe? Get those submissions in. What do you think it is? Slow to get those answers in. Ooh! And most people thinking it's a crochet pattern, but it is in fact the pound sign. So next time when you say hashtag blessed, you could say octothorpe blessed, because that sounds not cooler at all. Oh, babe! Nice job. Megan probably knows that because she works in social media, so she probably has to know that. Nice job, babe. Turn that sound down Yeah, don't get copyrighted. Okay, hopefully not. All right, Lottie's uncle, which I think is G-Man, and I have no idea who those other people are. Okay, question 2. How long is the Guinness World Record for the longest wedding veil? 1,000 feet, 10,000 feet, 23,000 feet, 30,000 feet. How long is the Guinness World Record for the longest wedding veil? 1,000, 10,000, 23,000, or 30,000. What thinkest thou? Oh, nice! Most of you guys knew that. It was, in fact, 23,000 feet long is the longest wedding veil in history. Girls who are listening, please don't try to beat that. What do we have? Ooh, and Megan holds top, but everybody else shakes up. Jen, I'm not sure if that's actually you, Jen. And Riley, not sure what's going on with poor Riley. Okay, next. Number 3. What is the national animal of Scotland? Patio Furniture's native homeland. Is it a unicorn, a dragon, the abominable snowman, or a hummingbird? What is the national animal of Scotland? The national animal. Lottie. No. What do you think it is? The national animal. If there's a Jen in the top 5, it's never actually me. Yes! Can you believe that the national animal of Scotland is a unicorn? That's incredible. That's cool. I would want to move to Scotland just so I could say that my national animal is, in fact, a unicorn. Ooh, and Megan misses that one. Ragu cruises up to the top, and more people that's not sure who you are. Ruby is happy. Ruby, you should move to Scotland, and that way you can have unicorns everywhere. Okay, next, question 4. Which of the following is an actual major at Cornell University? Nose picking, Elvish, majors, or wine? You could go, some of you seniors and juniors, you're trying to figure out. You could go to Cornell University and major in one of these things. One of those is true. Yes, it is not nose picking or Elvish, as cool as those might be. It is, in fact... Oh, no. 9 people thought Elvish. It's not nose picking or majors. It's not Elvish. It is, in fact, wine. There's a fancier term, but it's basically this majoring in wine. Ooh, we got banana 1, banana 2, and a whole bunch of random things going on. One more day is the highest climber. Nice job. Let's see. Unicorns and kilts. How is it not a dragon? As the leprechauns. I know, we got some questions, guys. All right, next. Question 5. Which song on Spotify holds the record for most streams in one day, a whopping 12 million? Shape of You, Bohemian Rhapsody, Baby, or All I Want for Christmas Is You? The most streamed in one day. Not all-time streams, but one of those songs was streamed 12 million times in a 24-hour period. That is insane. In the course of 24 hours, one song received 12 million streams in one day. Which song do you think it is? Oh, the fire feels amazing. So good. Can't wait to have another hot dog, too. And this one might hold the record for the longest question to be answered. Probably about 12 million seconds. A few seconds left to answer. What do you think it is? Wow. Yes, All I Want for Christmas Is You holds the record for the most streams in one day, 12 million times. Shape of You is actually the most streamed of all time on Spotify, but All I Want for Christmas Is You holds the single day record. Let's see how that changes things. Ooh, all right. To me, that looks like a delta, which is a capital D in Greek. So Delta P, I think. 6. Which letter of the alphabet is the most used in the English language according to Oxford dictionaries? A, E, S, or N? 11% of English words contain this letter, the most of any letter of the English alphabet. Again, random and useless facts. Unless when you're bored at a party and you need things to talk about. Okay, I'm impressed. I don't know if I would have guessed E. I probably would have gone for like A or S or something. But it is E. 11% of English words have the letter E. All right. Wow. Delta P is holding a strong lead. Nice. Question 7. Which country has the highest birth rate of twins? Is it Benin in Central Africa, Brazil in South America, Yemen in Asia, or Lithuania in Europe? One of those countries has the highest birth rate per capita of twins. So is it an African country, a South American country, an Asian country, or a European country? It is Benin in Central Africa, the highest per capita rate of twins, which is pretty crazy. Ooh, not a whole lot of change, but Banana 1 is the highest climber. Okay, a few more questions to go. Question 8. Napoleon was once attacked by hundreds of what animal? Locusts, bunnies, crows, or baboons? Napoleon was attacked by hundreds of one of those animals. Which one? Was he attacked by a bunch of locusts swarming all around him? Was he attacked by a furry pack of bunnies ready to kill him with cuteness? Were a bunch of crows just flying down, flying around, flapping their wings around him? Or a bunch of baboons being bullies to Bonaparte? Actually, I know what it is. A few seconds. Yes. Can you believe that? Napoleon Bonaparte was once attacked by hundreds of bunnies. How many of you, raise your hand, would love to be attacked by hundreds of cute little bunnies? Some of you probably would. Babe, I'm sure you would love to be attacked by hundreds of bunnies. So the story goes that after Napoleon had a great victory, they came back to wherever they were, I can't remember where it was, and they wanted to celebrate. And so in order to celebrate, they had a big feast. And then they wanted to have a rabbit hunting game, it's like a party game. And so they went around and they found hundreds of bunnies and rabbits, and they caged them up. And then they had, Napoleon got his gun, and they were going to have this festive bunny hunt. And so they released all the bunnies, but instead of scurrying everywhere, the bunnies started moving towards Napoleon and were jumping on him and trying to climb up his leg, and so they had to save Napoleon from a bunch of bunnies. Isn't that crazy? History is stranger than fiction. Bunnies is misleading. I would have guessed if it was rabbit. Yeah, this whole Kahoot is misleading. It can't be as bad as the SpongeBob one, though. Ooh, and Megan falls down. Okay, next one. Question 9. The guy who invented the video game Pong also founded what? Big League Chew, Chia Pets, Chuck E. Cheese, or Scratch and Sniff stickers? The same guy that invented the classic video game Pong also created one of these. Big League Chew, Chia Pets, Chuck E. Cheese, or Scratch and Sniff Snickers? Nice job, most of you got it right. He did! The same guy that founded Pong also did Chuck E. Cheese. So crazy. Ooh, Lottie's Feeder is now in first place. Whoever that is, well done. Next, If you start counting, what letter does not appear until the number 1,000? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One of these letters doesn't show up if you write out the numbers. If you spell them out, sorry. If you spell them out, which number does not appear until the number 1,000? I-L-W-A. Which letter does not appear until you write out 1,000? G-Man, at least I got the Octothorpe one. There's still plenty of Kahoot to play, and there's still some hot dogs that I need to roast up. So there's plenty for everybody. All right, looks like everyone's trying to count. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and nice job. Most people got that one. It is the letter A. And no change in the top 5, but Jen. Jen, you are the highest climber. Well done. All right, question 11. What was dropped from the sky on South Carolina in 1958? An atom bomb? An elephant? 3 tons of shredded cheese? Or 200 acres of cow manure? What was dropped from the sky on South Carolina in 1958? Maybe that's where all of the cheesy hot dogs came from, was the 3 tons of shredded cheese. Dylan, if you want to come over and roast some hot dogs, you are welcome to come on over. I'll save some for you. Yes, an atom bomb was dropped from the sky on South Carolina in 1958. Like, just about barely 50 years ago, an atom bomb was dropped on South Carolina. Pretty crazy. So there you go, random useless facts. Next time you're at a boring party and you're not sure what to talk about, you can say, hey, you hear about the atom bomb that dropped in South Carolina in 1958? It's pretty cool. Look up the story. It's fun. Ooh, top 5 holds it strong. And Lottie's feeder with an answer streak. Who's Lottie's feeder? Because you have an answer streak of 6, which is really good. Somebody please confess to being Lottie's feeder. My guess is it's either probably Sam or Dylan. It's probably Dylan. Question 12. What is the name of the Twitter bird? The Twitter bird. Is his name Chirpy, Bill, Jack, or Larry? What is the name of the Twitter bird? That little blue flying bird. Wesley, you mean like people are looking them up in order to get the answers? Is that what you're saying? Oh. It could be. Some of you guys may be cheating, and you'll have to sleep with a guilty conscience if you're cheating. And it is Larry. So next time you see Twitter, think of Larry Bird. Get it? Larry Bird? That's why. What do we have? Man, the top 5 are just crushing it. So good. Dylan, number 33. Dylan, does that mean that's what place you're in right now? Okay, what is sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia? What is sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia? Is it forgetting someone's name, the unique pain of stubbing your toe, a brain freeze, or the sour taste of a lemon? Sam, Larry Bird, overrated. It's just because he played for the Boston Celtics and not the Milwaukee Bucks. That's all. So, next time, you could say, oh, I just experienced sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia. Magic is better. Yeah, sure. A lot of good players. What is? Yeah, it takes a long time to type and search on Google, doesn't it? Wow. Okay. Did all of you Google that? Or did people actually know what that was? Or did you just use deductive reasoning to figure it out? Or maybe, as Wesley said, it was Googled to find out what it was. Ah, and the top 5 just aren't changing. Luca, MVP. All right, all right. Okay, 14. What are violin bows made from? Leather, horsehair, goat fur, cotton. What are violin bows made from? Jen, did you actually know that that was what a brain freeze was? Like, for reals? Violin bows. What are they made from? It is horsehair. Figured that one was a pretty common one. Ooh, even with a few people in the top 5 missing it, it still stays strong. Lottie's feeder is just crushing it. A strong lead. All right, a few more. What frequently washes up on the beaches of Cornwall in the United Kingdom? Legos, shoes, Tootsie Pops, or foreign currency? Legos, shoes, Tootsie Pops, or foreign currency? You know, you're out, you're enjoying a nice romantic walk on the beach, and all of a sudden you look down, and there, on the beach of Cornwall, as you're enjoying your vacation in the United Kingdom, you look down, and what do you see there, chilling in the sand? It is not shoes, not Tootsie Pops. As amazing as that would be, I would love to find a Tootsie Pop on a beach and be able to eat it and find out how many licks it takes to get to the center of that Tootsie Pop. But that's not what you would find, because you would find Legos, because there was a ship that was carrying a crazy amount of Legos, and a storm caused the ship to go down. So now there's Legos just washing up on the beach from a ship that crashed. Crazy. Wow, Lottie's feeder holds it strong. Lottie's feeder's probably cheating, but that's okay. What part of the human body never stops growing throughout life? Fingers, skull, ears, and tongue. Finger, skull, and ears and tongue, ears and tongue. Finger, skull, and ears and tongue, ears and tongue. Head and shoulders, knees and toes. I had to memorize all the bones in the skull in hygiene school. Wow, Jen. Wow, it is your ears. Most of you guys knew that one. Your ears never stop growing. Ooh, all right, top 5, I'll go that one. A few more. Lottie's feeder equals Google. Probably. All right, a few more. What letter does not show up in any United States? Is that redundant? In any U.S. states. In any United States states. What letter does not show up in any United States? Any of the United States. What letter does not show up in any of the United States? In any state in the U.S.? In any... I don't know. It's crazy. Lottie, come here. Come on. What letter? One of those letters does not show up in any of the 50 states. That's how I should have phrased it. Ah, just glad I figured that out. Which letter? J, X, B, or Q? It is Q. Q does not show up in any of the U.S. states. Ooh. Delta Pi holding strong. And we got banana 1, banana... Well, just banana, banana 2, and banana 3 at the top. Wow. Okay, 3 more. What country boasts the tallest tower in the world? Shanghai, Japan, Egypt, or Dubai? It is Dubai. Has the tallest tower in the world. Ooh, Delta Pi misses that one. And Lottie's Feeder might have this one. And probably Googling it to find out. Okay. Who was the first ever Time Magazine Person of the Year back in 1927? Charles Lindbergh, Thomas Edison, Babe Ruth, or Henry Ford? The tradition of the Time Magazine Person of the Year goes back to 1927. Who was it? Yes, Charles Lindbergh was the first ever Man of the Year. Whew. All right, and I think we're going into our final one. Final question. The largest diamond ever mined, the Cullinan diamond, came from what country? Venezuela, South Africa, Russia, or Lithuania? Where did the largest diamond ever found, ever mined, ever discovered? Which country did it come from? Yes, South Africa. When I went to South Africa 5 years ago now, we were like one town over from where they found the largest diamond in the whole world, like ever found, which is crazy. All right, here we go. Let's find out who knows the most random and useless facts. Here we go. Third place, Delta Pi, which I think is Parker. Number 2, Banana 2. Someone please tell me who Banana 2 is. And coming in first, Lottie's Feeder. All right, please tell me. Delta Pi, Parker, I think that's you. Who's Banana 2? Somebody please tell me who Banana 2 is. And somebody please tell me who is Lottie's Feeder. Because you nailed it. 18 out of 20. Way to use Google as your friend. Nice job. So please tell me, who are you? Please tell me. All right, let's find out. Let's get some feedback here. View report, because this is the fun part. Let's see what we got. Let's see here. I can never remember. Brightness is perfect. Oh, players. Here we go. Okay, Lottie's Feeder, 90%. Okay. Jen, I'm not sure if that's actually yours at 7. Dwight Schrute coming in at 8th. T, not sure. Aw, Babe, 10th place. Nice job. Jen, another Jen, 11. Lottie's uncle. I thought that was G-Man, but how did they cheat and still get 2 wrong? One more day. I have no idea who any of these people are. There's another Jen, Riley, a Pam, whole bunch of fun stuff. Oh! Pam and Jim, Abby and Phil, is that you? That's got to be you. That's Abby and Phil. Please confirm or deny that Pam and Jim is Abby and Phil. Is that you guys? Yes! I nailed it. All right. Very fun. Okay, let's go to... There we go. All right, guys. Well, Wesley, or they just didn't Google until they got 2 wrong. That could be the case as well. That could be the case as well. All right, guys. Well, let's go through a few announcements. Well, actually, first, any ideas for Kahoot for next week? What topic should we do for next week? So you give me some ideas, and I'm gonna grill another hot dog because they're amazing. G-Man, Lottie's uncle. All right. Okay, what should we do? Kahoot for next week. Give me some ideas. What you guys got? As I sit casually and roast my hot dog. Okay, give me some ideas. Movie quotes. We already did movie quotes. But like round 2? We could do round 2 of movie quotes. And I could maybe make it a little bit harder. SpongeBob remastered. Maybe. I'll have Megan put together the SpongeBob Kahoot because she would be really good at that. Ooh, cartoons. That could be kind of fun. Okay. Other ideas? Electromag. No. Don't. No. You don't get to eat the hot dogs. Those aren't yours. They're mine. They're for me. Yeah, scratch that. SpongeBob remastered. Sports one. Ooh, logos would be kind of fun. Landon, I like sports. Landon, we did a sports one a couple weeks ago, but we could maybe do a second one. I do like the logos idea. Can Garrett Hangen and I be on the SpongeBob making committee? Okay, well, we could do like company logos and sports logos. Like it could be a whole range of logos. That could be kind of fun. That could work. Historical figures. I like the idea of a logos thing and combining company logos and sports logos and mixing all that together. I think that could be kind of fun. Okay. I like that. I like that. Donnie and I would make an awesome quiz, just saying. Okay. Donnie and G-Man. Okay, here we go. Hear ye, Donnie and G-Man. I, Pastor Aaron, hereby commission thee, thou, both of you, to create a 20-question SpongeBob Kahoot that rivals the Cullinan Diamond in grandness, in beautifulness, in amazingness, that will hereby be implemented at some point for a youth group Kahoot game. And if I had melted wax and a seal, I would seal it. Okay? There it is. Donnie and G-Man work together to put together 20 questions for a remastered Cullinan Diamond Standard SpongeBob Kahoot. Okay? Like jingles or slogans. That could also be kind of fun. Okay? I clipped that. Okay, good. Hopefully somebody got that on recording, that you can hold me accountable. You know, we'll have a little one-on-one time over some coffee. Keep me accountable. Check in. Just kind of, you know, we can have some heart-to-hearts, making sure we're doing okay. As co-leader of the committee, I elect Samuel as well. All right. I will allow one. You may only exercise one executive order. And Donnie, you have now exercised your executive order. Do not try to produce another executive order. Otherwise, you will be taken to the Supreme Court and annulled. And I'm also kind of stalling because I'm still cooking my hot dog. It's not ready yet. But I do have some announcements, and we have some updates that I think you guys will find interesting. So, be ready for that, because I get some announcements coming. And I think, okay. Yeah, we'll call that good. All right. So, some announcements before we get going. Smoke in the eyes. Let me get the hot dog in there. Okay, so here's what's going on, guys. The pastors and I met today to talk kind of through what the plan is for Bay City getting back to being open and back to normal and all that kind of stuff. So Pastor, we'll get some more information out tomorrow. as far as like Sundays and stuff go. But we did talk about Wednesday nights and what that's going to look like moving forward. So let me update you guys as far as what Wednesdays are going to look like and some other youth group stuff. Okay, Wednesdays. What the plan is we're still trying to come up with a plan in general. So there's still a lot that we don't know. However, for now, we are going to, because we only have 2 weeks left after this of Respectable Sins. So the plan is we're going to finish Respectable Sins on YouTube Live. So youth group will remain on YouTube Live for the remainder of our Respectable Sins study. Okay, so that's the plan. We'll just keep doing this for a few more weeks until we end Respectable Sins. After that, we would obviously normally go into our summer study. And so right now, we just don't know yet what we're going to be able to do for Wednesday nights. And this isn't just youth group. This is like men's Bible studies, women's Bible studies, the counselor training, like all that stuff. We're still working on that. But the goal is to hopefully be able to gather in some form. We're just not sure what that looks like yet. But so we're still working on it. We're still kind of taking it a week at a time to see what's going to be wise, what's going to be helpful. So I'll keep you updated as soon as we get more information on that. But we do know that we're just going to finish Respectable Sins on YouTube Live. And then hopefully, Lord willing, we can gather, even if we're gathering in like a different room, so that way we have plenty of space to stay distance or whatever, okay? So we're working on that, but that's the plan for Wednesdays, okay? Then for youth activities, our next youth activity is CTG, Chillin', Thrillin', and Grillin', on June 6th. So I talked to the pastors about that, and here's what we decided. We decided that it is still on. CTG is still a go. It's happening, baby. So June 6th, I can't remember the time. It might have been like 2 to 5, 2 to 6. I can't remember. If somebody has your activity card handy, please remind me what the time is. Just comment on there. So we're still going to do it. I talked with the Solomons, and they are good to have us come. We as a pastoral staff felt like it was okay and good to be able to do it because we'll be outside and we'll be able to it'll work out well. So then, okay, Bree, perfect, 5 to 9. Okay, so that's the plan. 5 to 9 at the Solomons are chilling, thrilling, and grilling. We're gonna chill. We're gonna thrill with some type of games, and we're gonna grill because there's gonna be a giant fire. It's gonna be great. We'll do more of this, more grilling of hot dogs and other delicious things. So we're still going to do it, which is awesome. One change is we are not going to meet at the church and then all cram in the bus and drive. If you're going to go, you'll have to get your own ride. So that just limits really tight interaction because we talked about like if we have 15 people all in a bus, that's probably not the best thing for now because then we would have to like clean the whole bus and wipe it all down and just it's just easier to say, if you're going to come to the activity, then either drive or carpool or whatever. So you guys can work it out, talk to your parents, and figure out how you want to get to their place. I'll get the address from them. So that's what we'll do. Slip and slide kickball would be awesome because that was so much fun when we did that 2 years ago. So I will talk with the Solomons and see if they're good with that. But I would love to do slip and slide kickball again. So I am just really thankful that we can still have the activity. I think that'll bring some enjoyment for all of us to get together as a youth group and have this activity and just be able to hang out together. I think it'll be a fun time. So that's where we're at. That's really all I can say. Mission trips, we're still planning on going. Minneapolis is looking pretty good. I don't think there should be an issue. Detroit, I just don't know. The Michigan governor has been pretty tight, but there are some backup plans in place if Detroit is a no-go. So teens and parents of teens, if any parents of teens going to Detroit are listening, I will try to call and share some of that backup plan with you all, just so that everyone is aware of if Detroit does not work out, here's our backup plan. So continue to be flexible. You guys have been great. I know that everything is up in the air and everything's crazy and all over the place, but you guys have been great. Thank you for being so flexible. I'm still taking it a day at a time and changing as the days go, but that is where we are at. Okay, all that makes sense. Any questions while I take a few bites of my hot dog? Any clarifications or questions? Brim, on the team Detroit. No, the backup plan. Probably soon. I mean, I don't see why you teens shouldn't be able to know either. So we already had enough of the mission trip reveal and all the suspense. So I will let you guys know when I let parents know as well. Okay, any other questions or everything good? Want to make sure you guys are as up to date as as we know. I'll throw some more fire. Not throw more fire. Put more wood on the fire. Okay, we will get t-shirts. Yes. Megan and I are talking about the design. Megan has put together, I put together a few designs that Megan doesn't really like. And Megan put together a design that looks pretty good. So I'm still trying to decide what we're going to study for because we always do a study. And then usually the word or whatever, or the theme of our t-shirt comes from the study. So we haven't nailed that down yet. But yes, they will be nice and comfy. We're going to get the same material as last year. They're going to look great. The color is going to be fun. And they're going to be great because Megan always does amazing work when she designs things. So whatever Megan comes up with for the design, babe, if you can hear me, I'm sure it'll be great. Okay, any other final questions? Otherwise, let's jump into our study. So I know some extra announcements, but I want to keep you guys up to date with what we have going on. All right, let's do it, shall we? I'm gonna plug in my clicker. Take a swig of water, and we'll get going. All right, guys. Well, as we normally do, I'll give like 30 seconds for everyone to spend some time in prayer. So hopefully you have either your Bible ready or something to take notes on, or if you downloaded the handout, you can pull that up. So get ready. We're going to dive into our study now. So take 30 seconds, pray, ask for God to reveal sin in our hearts, to give us tender and soft hearts. Ask God to do that, and then I will pray, and then we'll dive in. Okay, 30 seconds, go. Father, we come to you now and we thank you so much for being a good father to us. We thank you for the gospel. Thank you for saving us. God, thank you for your word that teaches us. And as we look at our respectable sin for tonight, God, will you help me to be clear and articulate in what we talk about? Will you give us understanding? God, will you grow us? Will you reveal and convict us of sin and grow and shape us, we ask, in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, here we go. Respectable sins, round number... Ooh, we're quite good distance along. Okay, let me make sure the clicker is working. One second. Technical difficulties. Let me try the other side. There we go. Okay. All right, quick review. Respectable sins. Sins we give approval to, we don't think about, don't care about, make excuses for, or commit freely without second thought. So that is the context of why we are covering what we are covering. So last week, we talked about judgmentalism and talking with the youth staff. They were sharing some of the conversations. Sounds like you guys had some good small groups talking about judgmentalism. I know my group had a good time talking about that. Sam and Landon, it was a fun time. So, a critical and despising attitude that condemns harshly. So it's a critical spirit, it's a despising attitude that ultimately brings condemnation on people or judging them. Okay? So that was last week, and so for tonight, let's talk about what we're going to do tonight. So, gut check. Hope you guys are ready. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, I want it all, enough is never enough. Okay. Allie, when you think you cannot live without something someone else has. Okay, good. Envy, jealousy. What's your gut check? Amy, wanting what others have to the point of an attitude change towards that person. Ooh, okay. So, Amy, good. Lauren, someone not being content with what they've been given or what someone else has. Okay. Donnie, an unthankfulness for the gifts / talents / blessings that God gives to you because of the importance put on the possessions of others. Nice. Copying G-Man in your definition there. I like it. Wesley, the feeling of dissatisfaction in what God has freely given to you and wanting more and more, even if it is someone else's. Okay? Okay, any other gut checks? Envy, jealousy? I think this will be a fun one to talk about tonight. I'm excited. Any other thoughts? Okay, well, let's look at it, shall we? So, what is it? What is envy and jealousy? Okay? Well, I think the Hebrew helps us. So the Hebrew word is kana. Okay, so kana. There you go. You can say that with me. Kana. So the Hebrew word kana shows up in a couple places. And in the Bible, it's used in both it's used both in like a good sense and in a bad sense. So, so during the study tonight, I am not going to make a sharp distinction between envy and jealousy. Now, there are some people that think there is a difference, and in English there kind of is, but from a biblical perspective, it's one word generally that refers to all of these attitudes. So the word is kana, at least in Hebrew, because it can be said that God is a jealous God, a kana God. But it can also say that people sin when they are kana, okay? So Hebrew uses one word to talk about zeal, like passion, or to talk about envy or jealousy, okay? So I'm not going to provide a sharp distinction, I'm going to use envy and jealousy interchangeably. Okay. In English, there might be a slight difference, but envy and jealousy, basically the same thing. Okay, how many times do you think the word envy or jealousy show up in the Bible in a sinful way? How many times does the Bible use the words jealousy or envy in a sinful way? So, not talking about God is a jealous God, or Phineas was zealous for the glory of the Lord. Okay? Okay, how many do you think? How many times in the whole Bible does jealousy or envy show up? Amy, 32. Okay. Bryn, only 8? Seems pretty low. Wesley, less than 10. Okay. I'm curious. Tell me why. Tell me why. You have Donnie saying 32. Okay. Everyone's staying pretty low. Envy, jealousy. Staying pretty low. Okay, any other... What would you think if you had to guess? Any others? 16? Any other guesses? I just don't really know many verses that it's in. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. Other guesses? Yeah, I'm not super familiar with it either. Okay. Sorry, I was trying to plug in my charger, but it doesn't look like he's working. The charger's been giving us some problems. I'll have to throw it away. Okay, so here we go. Ready? About 43 times, which is actually a pretty good amount. So in the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, the word jealousy... Whoop. There we go. Okay. The words jealousy or envy show up about 43 times, which is, Bryn and Wesley, as you were saying, probably more than we would have guessed. But the Bible actually has a good amount to say about envy and jealousy. Okay, so let's get going into it then, shall we? Okay, so some examples. Here's what we got. Joseph's brothers. Thanks, babe. Okay, Joseph's brothers is an example. So these just kind of help us paint a picture of envy going on. Okay, so number 1. Joseph's brothers. Genesis 37:11. So you know the story, right? Joseph, he has this dream, and in his dream, everybody's worshiping him and all this kind of stuff. And then after that, he has this dream, then he tells his family of like, yeah, you're all going to worship me. And then it says that Joseph's brothers were kana. They were jealous of him. But his father kept the saying in mind. Okay, also, Megan, I need to go back to your question. Is Greek the same idea? Sort of. Greek is closer to English, where there is a clear word for envy, like it's its own word for envy. But it also, Greek has a word for zeal that is also has the idea of jealousy. So jealousy and zeal, and it's used in a positive sense and a negative sense. So Greek is a little bit different, but it still uses the same word for jealous as a good jealousy and a bad jealousy. So Greek is like sort of, but not really. So I wouldn't draw a big distinction between it necessarily. Okay, so that's an example. And then we also have Leah and Rachel. You know the story. Leah keeps having all these kids, and then Rachel can't have kids. And so it says, when Rachel saw that Leah bore Jacob, when When Rachel saw that she bore Jacob no children, she envied Kanad, her sister. She said to Jacob, "Give me children or I shall die." Okay, so it's interesting. It's interesting then to seeing her saying, like, "I need this and I'm envying my sister or else I'll die. Give it to me." Okay, then you also see an example of trees. In Ezekiel, God is talking about Egypt and how he blessed Egypt and yet they turned their back on God. And he said, "I made it," meaning like Egypt and all the forests, "beautiful in the mass of its branches, the trees of Egypt. And all the trees of Eden envied it, kanad it, that were in the garden of God." So basically, God is saying, listen, Egypt, I gave you trees that were so beautiful that even the trees in the garden envied, kanad, your beauty. And then he says, "But you turned away from me," kind of so on and so forth. Okay, so just kind of some helpful examples of where it shows up, but then we need to look at a definition. So here we go. Here's our definition of envy and jealousy in a sinful sense. Okay, here we go. Definition of envy, jealousy: a sorrow and disdain at the good of another. A sorrow and disdain at the good of another. Okay, so this is what we have when it comes to what the Bible has to say about envy, jealousy, a sorrow. So when you see, and at the good of another, this is key because it's kind of similar to, it's similar to being covetous, but coveting is more on circumstances and things. Envy and jealousy are directed at a person. Okay, so they're explicitly human related, which is why you see the good of another, whether something good that they receive or something good that they do, and then you're sad that they got something good and I didn't. Or you disdain them, you despise them, you're angry at them or upset at them or tweaked at them because they got something good that you think you should have. Or they have something good and now their good thing is threatening your good thing. So this is when we are envious, when we are jealous, we're looking at the good of another and we're sad that they have something good, either a good that we don't have or they have more of a good than we have. So you look at the example of Leah and Rachel. Leah is having kids. Rachel does not have kids. Kids, having children is a good thing. Rachel does not have it, so she actually is sad that she doesn't have that good thing, and somebody else does, and she disdains her sister. Or the trees of Egypt. The trees of Eden were beautiful, but the trees of Egypt were even more beautiful, and so there was envy or jealousy. Okay? John Calvin put it this way. He said, "Envy is not to regard with joy the happiness of a brother is envy." Not to regard with joy the happiness of a brother is envy. So Calvin, really similar to our definition. When you look at the joy and the happiness of a brother and you don't rejoice with them, you're envious. When you can't celebrate the good of another, you're being envious. Okay? So envy, jealousy, sorrow or disdain at the good of another. So let's work through it then. So why is it a sin? Okay, number one, well, envy and jealousy can lead to other sins. It's a fertilizer for other sins. So James 3:16. For where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, there will be disorder in every vile practice. So James is super clear. When you are upset or ticked that someone else has something good that you don't have, or they have more of a good thing, what's going to hinder you from gossiping about them or slandering them or being unkind to them or being unloving? Like when you have those feelings of, I don't like the good that you have, you are now a threat to me and I don't like that. So that leads to every vile practice. So that's what James has to say. Okay, Donnie, even in the middle ground is still not rejoicing, which is still envy. That's eye-opening. Yeah, that's a good point, Donnie. Yep. that we're saying you are rejoicing, but I don't like that you have something or more of something than I have, and so I'm not going to rejoice with you. Yeah, that's really good. Okay, so at least other sins. Next. Oh yeah, Thomas Aquinas, he said this. He was a church theologian from the Middle Ages, and he said, envy is, no, not from the Middle Ages. I have my dates wrong on that. I can't remember the exact date. But he said, envy is a capital sin which motivates all kinds of other sinful action. So that's basically James. Envy and jealousy can lead us and fertilize the path towards many other sins. Okay, next. It just straight up breaks commands. Okay, look at 1 Peter 2:1. So, here's Peter. Put away all malice, all deceit, all hypocrisy, and envy, and all slander. Put it away. Don't hide it in your mind. Don't hold on to it. Get rid of it. Put it away. But rather, when we hold on to those thoughts and we think about, oh, I can't believe that person has that good thing, and I really deserve that, and I've worked so hard, and yet they get all the good. And we have those thoughts. No, we're called to put it away, not hold on to it. Okay, Tyler, if you're just mad at someone for doing something that annoyed you so that you don't rejoice with them, would that be envy? If you are just mad at someone for doing something that annoyed you so that you don't rejoice with them, would that be envy? Well, yeah, not quite, Tyler. So, I mean, getting annoyed, we talked about getting frustrated and angry at someone. So that would be a different category. And then it's not just a matter, the point of not rejoicing with someone is not being able to rejoice because you're envious of them. So it's not simply, oh, I didn't rejoice with you, then that automatically means I'm envious. But what that definition is getting at is not being able to rejoice. So it'd be like, yeah, okay, yep. So somebody, let's say, take sports. One person is trying out for a team, and the other person is trying out for a team, and you're trying. He gets it, but you don't. And he texts you, yo, dude, guess what? I made the team. Are you going to rejoice with him? Can you genuinely congratulate him? If not, because you're like, oh, I can't. Okay, that's the difference there. Wesley, that's a good point. Okay, and Tyler, that's also good. Okay, thanks. Okay, another command, Romans 13:13. Let us walk properly as in the daytime, not in orgies and drunkenness, not in sexual immorality and sensuality, not in quarreling and jealousy. So Paul says, don't walk in these things. Don't habitually pattern your life in these things. Don't walk in these. Don't walk in jealousy and envy. Okay, clear commands that we break. Why else is it a sin? It too is earthly, unspiritual, and demonic. Remember we covered this when it came to selfishness? But envy is an earthly, unspiritual, and demonic sin. Isn't that crazy? Check it out. James 3:14-15. But if you have bitter jealousy and selfish ambition in your hearts, don't boast and be false to the truth. This is not the wisdom that comes down from above, but is earthly, unspiritual, and demonic. When we are envious and jealous of another person, when we are saddened and disdaining towards another person because of something good that they do or have, then we are giving into a demonic and earthly and unspiritual attitude. Okay? Brian, can you outwardly rejoice while still having a heart problem of envy? Totally. Yes. And that's what makes envy and jealousy so nasty, is it's not an outward thing that I do. Like, I could look to your face and be like, hey, I'm so happy for you, man. Like, that's great. Congratulations. And then in our minds, we're thinking, like, we're smiling. Oh, congratulations. But our minds are going, they don't deserve, I can't believe, like, I've worked so hard for this. How come they get that and I don't have that? I want that. I deserve that more than they do. Man, those people I can't believe they would have that. Okay? You're actually, your view of the other person is going down because of something good that they have. So yeah, yep, it's as with every sin, it starts in the heart. Our hearts are saddened and angry at another person for something good. Okay, good questions, guys. These are good. Thanks for them. Keep them coming. Okay, next, it's a work of the flesh. Here's what Paul says. Galatians 5:19-21. Now the works of the flesh are evident. Sexual immorality, impurity, sensuality, idolatry, sorcery, enmity, strife, jealousy, fits of anger, rivalries, dissensions, divisions, envy. Okay, So, Megan, that's your question. Those are two different words. So, jealousy there is the word for zeal, like zealous and passionate. Uh, Envy is the word envy. It means envy. Drunkenness, orgies, and things like these. I warn you, as I warned before, that those who do such things will not inherit the kingdom of God. So do you see Paul? That jealousy and envy are in the same category as sexual immorality and strife and fits of anger and drunkenness. Okay? We think, I don't go out and party and get drunk and everything like that. But Paul says, no, but you're envious. You can't rejoice with people when they do something good because you're so ticked at them. When we are envious of another person, that is our flesh that is trying to work its way out into our life. So it's not a respectable sin. It's not something that we can it's not a big deal. Or as long as it's just in my heart or mind, it's not a big deal. During our meeting this week for our virtual small group, Sam had some really good points when we were talking. And Sam Hangen, shout out to Sam. Sam Hangen made the point of talking about sin, how we often think that as long as sin stays in my mind, it's not a big deal. Like, it's only a big deal once it makes its way out of me. But if it's just in my mind, it's not a big deal. And Sam pointed that out and pointed out as well how that's such a bad way of thinking. So that was and I thought that was a really good point. Sam's spot on. It's not just, well, as long as it's in here, it's fine, but once it gets out here, it's bad. No. Sin is evil and wrong, no matter if it's in here, in the heart, or out here. Okay, next. It's destructive. Look at Proverbs 14:30. A tranquil heart, a peaceful heart, gives life to the flesh, but envy makes the bones rot. That's such a good proverb. When there's peace in your heart, man, you have life. But when you're constantly envious and jealous and you are sad and disdainful towards those around you that are experiencing good, it'll rot you out. And that's how things that rot happen. It's not instant. It's slowly crippling away and slowly eating away. Envy is a sin that will slowly eat us away. Okay, next. It's just plain unloving. Envy is unloving. 1 Corinthians 13:4. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not what? Envy or boast. It is not arrogant, rude, on and so forth. I don't know how else to put it. Love does not envy. When I look at a person who does something good or receives something good and I'm envious of them, I'm upset at them, I disdain them, I'm not loving them. Because love is doing whatever it takes for the betterment of another no matter what. When I'm envious of someone, I'm saying I deserve better than what they are getting. You can't love someone while you're being envious towards them. Because when you're envious towards them, you're saying, you don't deserve to be better than me. You don't deserve to look better. You don't deserve to receive better gifts, better blessings, to perform better. You don't deserve that. I deserve that. And now I'm mad at you because you got it and I didn't. Okay, that's not love. Love says, I want you to be better. Spiritually, physically, emotionally, everything. No matter what. No matter if I get anything good. So envy, jealousy, it's just straight up unloving. Okay, any other questions so far? You guys have had good questions. Envy and jealousy can be hard to really pin down because it takes on, it's an amorphous monster in our life. It takes on so many forms and subtleties in our life that it can be hard to really pin down. Okay? All right, so any quick questions before we get into what they look like in our lives? Give some examples of this. Otherwise, I'm guessing everybody's good. And all right, let's go. Okay, first off, being jealous over our preferences. This is an area that we can be envious or jealous of. So maybe you're part of some type of committee, or you're giving ideas and suggestions, and people are not listening to your your suggestions, but they're listening to somebody else's ideas. And so you think, oh man, they have such better ideas than me, and they don't deserve those ideas because I'm so much smarter. And now you're looking at somebody else who has good ideas, and you're envious of them, you're jealous of them. Or it could be you have your way of doing things, and then somebody else comes along and they have better ideas of how to do something, and you don't like those ideas because you realize, wow, they have better ideas than me and better ways of doing things and better preferences, and I don't like that. So now I'm going to be envious of you and not love you in that way. Okay, quick, Bryn, discontent versus envious and jealous. Okay, so I'm guessing you're kind of wanting some of the distinction. Yeah, so discontentment has more to do with the circumstances. Okay, you're just discontent with circumstances. Envy and jealousy has to be directed at a person. Okay, so I can be discontent with just whatever. So I am discontent when I get a disease that hinders my life. Okay, I'm discontent with that reality. I'm not as healthy as I once was. That's discontentment. Envy then is to see somebody else who has health and then look down on them because they have something that I want, or they have something that I should have more of. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Discontent, circumstantial. Envious and jealous is relational. That's how it's summarized. Okay. Next, being unable to give thanks for another's good. And this is basically our definition, but there you go. When somebody experiences something good, can you genuinely give thanks for that? When somebody does well on a test or in school, and you're trying to get better at whatever, and someone does well, can you give thanks to God for that? If maybe there's a friend who's maybe a little bit more popular than we are, can we give thanks for that friend? At work, when somebody else gets a promotion or gets recognized and we don't, can we give thanks for that good thing, or do we become envious of that good thing? So just in general is, I can't rejoice with you. I can't give thanks. I'm unable to do that because I'm so envious on the inside. Okay? Sure. Okay. All right, next. And then it can easily move into being anger or bitterness towards a person. So when you are envious of someone because they have something good that you want or you think you deserve, or their goodness and whatever might encroach upon you and affect your life, you can then begin to become angry and bitter towards them, so that because they have something good and you can't change that. So what we'll do is we'll become bitter towards them or be angry towards them in an attempt to try to make us feel better because we're envious of their good. So oftentimes when we are angry with someone or bitter towards someone, not every time, but oftentimes, it can be because we're really envious of them. So this is why envy will lead to so many other sins. Because if I don't like the good that you're getting, I'm now going to be bitter at you and upset with you and angry towards you. Okay. Next, competitiveness. Now, I'm not saying that any sports and competition that we do is automatically envious. That's not what I'm saying. But here's what can happen. Since envy is despising someone else's good, what we do is, because we're envious, we try to outdo their good thing, or we try to outdo them so that we can feel better about ourselves. So maybe there's someone that is we think is prettier or cuter than us. And so what we'll do is we'll do whatever it takes to try to become better in looks, to be cuter than them, to be prettier than them, because we're envious of that person who's like, they're cuter than me, they're prettier than me, I don't like that. And so I'm going to try to outdo myself in cuteness or prettiness. Or maybe at your job. And someone is, you're like, oh yeah, like I got this. And then someone else is maybe doing their job and they're doing really well. And you're like, I don't like that. And so I'm envious of that person. So now I'm going to put in extra hours and work extra hard because I'm trying to make sure that they don't outdo me. I don't like that person, so I'm going to try to outdo that person. Or maybe in friend groups, someone is the cool person and you don't like that their coolness is maybe more than your coolness, and so you try to out cool them and make yourself more popular because you're jealous of them. So that's how competitiveness can become, or can turn into, or be the result of envy. Again, that doesn't mean every competition. I love competition. I can't wait to get out and play some good competitive ultimate frisbee again. Like, that's fine. But the difference between, you know what, I want to compete and do my best just because I enjoy doing that, that's one thing. And then to say, I don't like that you're better than me, so I'm going to, I look down on you and I'm going to outdo you because I'm envious of you. I don't like the good thing that you have. Okay? Competitiveness. Next, social media posts is a huge one. What happens when often social media is the place where people share blessings, they share accomplishments, they share good news. So how do you respond when you see a good post on social media? Someone shares, it could be anything, a relationship, an accomplishment, whatever it is. When somebody shares a good thing on social media, do you look down and become envious of that person, or become sorrowful at that? Or can you genuinely see the post and say, God, thank you so much for being such a good God to this person and blessing them with that? Can you respond that way? When you see that, you say, God, thank you for that good thing that they were able to post about. Or is it, man, wow, like I wish I could have a relationship like that, or wish my friends were like that, or wish my family member would do something like that for me. And we look at that, man, that person is so much better. They have better friends. They have better looks. They have better accomplishments. And we're looking at that person, looking down and despising them. We're envious towards them. And social media can reveal the envy and the jealousy in our hearts. Okay, similar is then comparing ourselves with others. So you look at this is a huge step in our envious hearts. Is we think we're doing pretty good, and then we look at someone else and we compare and we say, "Ooh, you have more than me. You're better than me in whatever it is, and I don't like you for that." You look down on someone simply because they may rank a little bit higher than us. So and often this will fall in areas that we are kind of already good in. So, like for instance, me, I am terrible at algebra. I will I will never be the math guy. Like that's just not me, and I don't care. I'm totally okay with that. I'll never be the math guy. So when I see somebody who's like really good at algebra and they're just like a super brainiac in the math kind of whiz world, like whatever, like I look at somebody who does that and I'm like, awesome. I don't care. But that's great. Like I'm really glad that you enjoy that and that you're good at that, okay? Like no envy, because like I don't even care about comparing myself with that person. Okay, but for me, as a pastor, I do a lot of public speaking, and I enjoy doing that. So for me, when I see someone else who maybe is like close to my age or whatever, and they preach or they do some type of public speaking, that I really have to watch out for envy, because I'm looking at someone and I'm listening and I'm watching them do public speaking, which I do a lot of and enjoy doing. And so I'm watching them public speak and I think, wow, they're really good. You know what? I think they're better than I am at this. And then I begin to look down on that person just because they are a better public speaker than me. And like that's the only reason. And now I'm sad at me because, oh man, I'm not as good as they are. They're better than me. So I'm sorrowful at their betterment, and I'm looking down on them for their betterment. So for me, like that's an area that I really have to watch out for. And for each one of us, it's going to be different. If you're more of a sports person, you're going to find that you're going to really struggle with envy and jealousy with other sports people. If you're if you're the popular, cool one, you're going to struggle with envy and jealousy with other people that might be cooler or popular or whatever it is. If you're the smart one, you're going to struggle with envy towards other smart. When we begin to compare those that are like us, whether music or whatever, that's where we're going to really find ourselves struggling, because we compare and say, ooh, you know what? When I compare, they're better than me. and now I don't like them just because they're better than me. Okay, next. We can also become envious of God. Now, this is kind of a weird aspect, but if envy and jealousy is despising and looking down and disdaining someone for their good, then sometimes we can look at God and we can begin to think, God, like you're the one that has all the power, the authority, the glory. You're the one who's sovereign, and you know what? I don't like you for having that power and having that authority, because I think I should have some more of that. I look at myself and I look at God and say, God, you have more power than I do, and I really think that I deserve some of this power to control my life. So it's discontentment and envy kind of at the same time. God, I don't like what you're doing in my life. And I'm envious of you because you have power and I don't have that power, and I think that I should have that, and now I'm looking down on God because he has something that I don't. So we can be envious and jealous and angry and frustrated and impatient and discontent at God and unthankful, kind of all at the same time. So that might be where some of us land when it comes to envy or jealousy. Okay, so what does it look like in our lives? Those are a few areas. Okay, anything questions so far? Otherwise, we'll go into how do I kill it. Hopefully everything's making sense. I'm trying to be as clear as possible. Okay, if you have any, throw them on there. Let's get into the last part. How do I kill it? First step is always confess and repent. Every single time, every single sin, every single day. We won't overcome our sin until we own up to our sin. God, yes, I was sorrowful and I was despising that person because they had something good. God, that's wrong. Forgive me. So we confess it, we repent of it, we acknowledge it. But also, guys, we may need to confess our envy to that person that we are envious towards. So if it's, and this is where wisdom might come in, where if there's some random person that you'd never met or never know, and like maybe not, but a close friend or someone that you are around a lot, and you realize like, man, there are some really, there's a lot of weeds in my heart of envy that I need to get rid of and sit down and confess to this person so that they can forgive me and they can pray for me and we can grow through this together. And envy and jealousy is a hard one to confess because it's super petty. I mean, like you look at the kid who like pouts in the corner of like, he got to do this and I don't have this, and they're like all pouty, and we're like, that's so lame and just pathetic. And yet we realize, oh, when I don't like someone simply because they have more of a good than I do, like that's super lame and really pathetic. So it's hard to own up to that. It takes a lot of humility to say, yep, like I am so sinful that I despised you just because you had more of a good thing than I do. And that's a hard thing to own up to, but it's life-giving, and when we have a good friend that can help us and pray for us and work through that with us. Okay, then we remember the gospel. Always, always. Okay, we are freed from sin in ourselves. We are free from the power of envy. Envy is a sin, and it's a powerful sin. And yet, in the gospel, we're freed from that power. We do not have to give in to the lures and temptations of envy and jealousy. But also, when we remember the gospel, we remember that we are loved and accepted in Jesus. We have the best good we could ever have. That's Jesus. So when I forget that I have the goodest good thing, I have Jesus, then I don't have to look at others and see the good things that they have and become envious. I can see the good things that they have, the good things that they do, and when I begin to feel envy or jealousy, I can say, God, like, I don't need to be jealous of that because I have you. And you are the goodest good thing there is. And I'm loved by you. So I don't have to try to perform or outperform someone else to feel loved and accepted, because I'm freely loved and accepted in Jesus and I have him. And that's man, when we allow that truth to sink into our hearts, that'll radically transform the way that we live. Okay, next. Remember that God has gifted and blessed each one for his purposes. So we can look at God blessing someone else or giving them something good, and we can forget, like, God, like, what about me? How come I don't get to have, and we go down that trail. But rather we have to remember that God gives and blesses people for particular purposes. What you have is going to be different than other people. Okay, we rest in God. I don't know maybe why you gave more of this good thing to that person and I have less of that good thing. But God, I know that you don't do anything by accident. So the reason that I may have less of, oops, sorry about that. The reason that I may have less of, where did my mouse go? Nope. Okay, there we go. The reason that I may have less of this thing is in your good plan. So God, I can rest in that. You've gifted me so I can live in that. Okay, next, pray for the success of that person. If there's someone that you know you are constantly envious towards or jealous of, whether another person because of their looks, their abilities, their talents, their money, their possessions, like whatever it is, start to actually pray for the success of that person. Because we put off our sin. No, I'm not going to be envious, but we have to put on something in its place. So put on prayer, that when you see a friend that you are jealous of, somebody who might be cuter or prettier or better looking than you, that you actually say, pray, God, will you continue to bless that person and continue to give them health? Or you see somebody who's better at a sport than you actually, God, will you continue to bless their athletic endeavors? God, will you do that? You continue to pray that God would bless that person. So rather than getting envious and being sorrowful and disdainful towards that person, we actually pray for that person. And we watch as prayer for that person that God begins to transform our hearts as we actually pray for that person rather than become jealous towards them. Next, remember that God has all of us on the field. Now, here's what I mean by this. It can be easy to think, oh, well, they have something, they're better at something than I am. They have more of a good thing than I am. So apparently God doesn't care about me or whatever. But no, so we often think like God has some people playing on the field and then he just puts other people on the bench. Well, they're better than me or they have more, so they're on the field. I'm just sitting here on the bench. Okay, no. We are a body. We're not all the eye. We're not all the feet. We're not all the hands. We are different people. God has blessed us differently. We're not all equal. We have different good things. We have different levels of good things. And that is how God has designed it. So whether or not you have more or less of a good thing than another person, we have to remember that God still has a plan for us. We are still playing the game that God has for us. We're still running the race. God does not put his people on the bench. God has all of us building his kingdom with us, okay? So don't think that because you have less of a good thing that God has placed you on the bench. That's not how God works. So don't become jealous or envious. Remember that God has a plan and purpose for your life today, and pursue that and pursue him. And then lastly, look to the future glory we are promised. Look to the future glory we're promised. 2 Corinthians 4:7, for our light affliction, which is but for a moment, is working for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. Often, as we look around at other people, we see the good things that they get, the good things that they do, the good things that they receive, and we're tempted to be jealous. But what Paul does here is says, listen, no matter what you see around us, there's coming a day when we are going to receive something that will be better than anything else we could have ever imagined on this earth. There is coming a glory that is going to be so good. It's going to be more good than any athletic ability. It's going to be more good than any possessions, more good than any looks. Paul holds out the promise and encouragement that no matter what's going on in our life, rather than being tempted to jealousy, we can look to the future and see that God is preparing for us a weighty glory, an eternally weighty glory. So when we're tempted to be envious of others because they have something good that we don't, what we do is we remember, God, one day, right now I have Jesus, and I will always have Jesus, and you're going to provide a glory for me that is, wow. And you begin to think about that, and all of a sudden, the thing that you were jealous of in that person just fades in comparison. Okay, Wesley, what if what you want isn't necessarily because someone else has it, but other people might have it? Yeah, Wes, that's a good question. Coveting and jealousy are are it's really there's a very fine line between coveting and being jealous. So jealousy, so they both have to do with desire because you want something, but coveting is more purely on I want this and I want this. Jealousy and envy are going to be I want something that a person has, and now me and another person are in conflict. Okay, so they're really related, but they're different. So coveting is so. For instance, the Bible, what Eve did to the tree and the forbidden fruit, the Bible calls that coveting. So she coveted the fruit. It doesn't say that she was envious of it or jealous of it. She didn't kana it. She coveted it. So it's an apple, it's a thing, and she looks at it and says, I want that, just because I want it. Where envy says, you have something, like Leah and Rachel. You are having kids, I'm not having kids, I'm envious of you. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense. That's the difference between coveting and envy. Okay, last quote to end. God has not called you to be awesome. Rather, he has called you to be humble, faithful, forgiven, and free. When it comes to envy and jealousy, a lot of us can feel like that person has more, that person is better, that person was good, or that person has more good, and we begin to compare ourselves, and the jealousy and envy just overflows. But God doesn't call us to be awesome or to be better than everybody else. He calls us to be humble, to be faithful, to be forgiven, and to be free. And when we live in that, when we live in the gospel, we can remove and fight and kill the envy that's in our hearts, and we can actually live humble, faithful, forgiven, and free. Okay, there's envy and jealousy. So any final thoughts or questions? Wesley, you always thought those were opposite. So coveting and envy were opposite? Is that what you're saying? Coveting and envy being opposites? I want to make sure I'm understanding your question. Okay. Yeah, definitely not. I wouldn't say opposites, but just very similar. It has to do with what we want and then how we respond to that. Yep. So coveting is what Eve did to the fruit. Envy is what I do to another person. Okay, so that's the difference. Again, they're really related. So, like with many of these, they're really related and similar. So there's not a really hard and fast line, but there are some nuances between them. Okay, final thoughts, questions, comments at all? Oh, Wesley, got it. Okay, the definitions. Yes. Okay, that makes sense. No, envy and jealousy has to be connected to a person. Covetousness can be a fruit, because that's what Eve did. Okay, any other final thoughts or questions, guys? My small group will meet sometime on Friday. I'll let you know what time. I'm helping someone move, but I'll let you know what time we can meet. So we'll meet on Friday. We'll talk about envy and jealousy. I'm pretty sure G-Man and Jen's group is meeting right after this, so enjoy that. And I'm not sure when Abby, Phil, and Megan's group is meeting, but I'm sure those will be great too, so enjoy those times. Thanks again, guys. Only a few weeks. Next week will be our last sin, and then we'll have a conclusion for our study. So we only have 2 weeks left of our Respectable Sin study. It's been a fun time, fun thing to learn, so I'm excited to learn together next week. And looking forward to our CTG activity, 5 to 9 on June 6th. And like I said, we'll keep you updated with whatever information we have. So I'll close in prayer, and then enjoy your small groups, G-Man and Jen, and my group. We'll see you on Friday. Father, we come to you and we thank you for tonight. Thank you for another time for youth group to look at respectable sins. God, we know that our hearts are so quick to be jealous of other people and looking down on people just because they have something that we want or they threaten us in that way. So God, will you grow us, convict us when we are envious and jealous? Will you grow us, help us to be more like Jesus? God, thank you so much for the gospel that frees us from the power of sin and that accepts us and that we are loved and welcomed in you. So thank you. Thank you for this night, we ask. In Jesus' name, amen. Alrighty, guys. We will see you guys on here next week.